Morning all, and welcome to another episode of On the Road Tuning with ACDodd. And today I've got for us a 1293 over in Reading, and I've got a 1098 in Surrey. So tag along for the ride and let's see how we get on. Well, here we are over in Reading. This nice little Mini. This one is actually it's actually got a brand new engine in it, so it's not even run in yet. So what we're actually doing today is, rather than the full tune-up, what we're doing is we're making sure this one's running lean, so it can be, the fueling's under control for running in. So let's go and meet the owner, Alex.
Hi.
All right.
Yeah.
So I've come here today. Why have you called me over here?
Well, I've reached the end of my knowledge and experience. Spent a long time building an engine over lockdown, as I'm sure a lot of people did. But I know my limits, so I wanted AC's help to just get it running properly. I didn't want to do anything wrong. Spent a long time, a lot of money on it, so I'd rather have someone set it up properly for me for running in.
Excellent. And I'm glad you called me over today. So you've confirmed that all you've done is done an initial start. So we finished running the cam in this morning. And obviously you did say that it wasn't running, you couldn't keep it running. So we fixed that already.
Yeah.
So let's have a look at the car. Right, so Alex has made a nice job here. He's obviously looked after this car and built the engine. As far as I understand, this is a 1293?
1293.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's a 1293. It's SW5 cam, 1.3 rockers, single HI 44 carb. I have been working on it, which is why the air filter's off at the moment. And she's running a 65D Dizzy. And yes, we've got the right coil on there, which is excellent. So as I say, I've already got it running, but let's see what else we can do to make this car drive. Okay, so we got this one running nicely now. The important thing is this is running lean and it's under control, which it is. I mean, we've got, we're running nice and lean at idle, and we're all over lambda 1 all the way across the rev range, so we're under control. And the most important thing about doing this is that the carburettor that's on the engine is actually able to control the fueling under all conditions, which it's doing. What I found on this one, there was much too much ignition advance, so we had about 26 degrees I think at idle, so we're back down to 8 on this one. What else have we got? The spark plug gaps just needed adjusting. The spark plugs were loose a little, but other than that, yeah, she's good to go. And the main issue with the non-running when we first come here was the carburettor was set much too lean, which is okay in terms of running in, but not if you want to keep the engine running and be sensible to drive. Anyway, now it's time for a test drive. Some of you can probably tell by the smile on his face. He's been out for a test drive. So what do you think, Alex?
It was great. Yeah, really good. So nice to hear it running properly. It's certainly a big difference from the 850 that was in it before.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So it's worth mentioning at the moment, Alex is used to an 850 in that, so clearly a warmed over 1293 is going to be a massive improvement.
Yeah, definitely.
The main thing to understand here is that's not I haven't set that up to be the full power released from it yet, because obviously that would mean running a bit richer mixture than we've got now.
Yeah.
But the point is, it's under control and you're able to drive the car and run it in. So I think the only thing we're going to do now is make sure there's some running in oil in it, and then
temperature gauge.
Oh, and a temperature gauge, and then you can hit the road and get that running. All right. So obviously having me here today, has it been beneficial for you?
Absolutely. Yeah, I couldn't have done that without you. It was really helpful, and it's just nice to have it set up properly from the get-go. Okay.
So would you recommend this to anyone else, this service?
Absolutely. Yeah. Don't try and set it up yourself if you're not 100% sure of what you're doing.
Okay, that sounds like a very experienced voice there, so thank you very much. All right then. Anyway, it's nice to have met you, and thank you very much.
Thank you, AC.
Okay, so that was Alex's Mini. Yeah, interesting to get called out to a very sensible owner there. Wanted to make sure that his car was running properly so he could run the engine in. It's always very important and something that most Mini owners don't do. So yeah, lead by example, and if you've got a new engine, you want to think about making sure your fueling is right and obviously your timing is right, so that you can actually drive and run the engine in without fear of bore washing. And the other thing is, it's not just about settings, it's about making sure your carburettor is actually able to control the fueling when it's being driven. So yeah, something that people need to take care of, or to take in mind when they're actually setting up their new engine for the first time. So onwards to the second car, which I believe is a little 1100. So let's go and see what that one's like. Okay, so we're now down in Surrey and we've got a nice Clubman. As you can see, I'm already set up. This is a nice little 1100 and all standard apart from a stage 1 kit. So let's have a quick look, see where we are. So this one runs really well. It's just to my ear sounds like it's got a little bit of fluff and mist to it, but on examination everything's right on it. Plug gaps, coil, sparking well. The timing's even somewhere near right, so well done Andy at ML Motorsport again. But what we have got is quite a worn carburettor, so let's go and speak to the owner. Okay, this is Stuart. All right, Stu.
Hey.
What do you call us out for today?
Just wanted to get it fine-tuned really, so I had the car rebuilt by Andy at ML Motorsport. Everything was going pretty well, but there were a couple of niggles. Particularly, I thought it was a fueling issue. Basically, when you drop to idle coming into traffic lights, things like that, I always got in the habit of pulling the choke out a little bit because it was always just dropping off and feeling like it was going to die. So that was the main thing to try and get sorted out.
It's funny you should mention that, because as I've already mentioned, the carb is quite warm. We've got warm throttle spindle and bushes. So I think in this case you've gone for a replacement carb. So let's get that fitted and see if that makes an improvement.
Great stuff.
Okay, so the tuning's all done. I'll say there weren't a lot wrong with this one other than one particular issue, and that was the carburettor. So the old carb was very worn on the throttle spindle and bushes, so we had to unfortunately take that one out of service. So I sold the customer a new one. So Stu's got a nice new one on there now, and then obviously I dialed it in as normal. This one uses an ABD needle, and it needed just a little bit of tweaking to get the fueling spot on throughout the rev range. Hello Stu, so you can still already see the smile already. Look, so you've been out for a drive now, but you've got your new carb and dialed in. What do you think?
Fantastic. It's just transformed, it really has. That mid-range hesitation that I sort of described has completely gone. Doesn't now die when it will feel like it's going to die when I come to idle at traffic lights and so on. And yeah, it just feels smooth and brilliant.
No flat spots.
No flat spots at all.
Nice and responsive.
Sounds great as well.
Yeah,
so
yeah. And any more power?
It's definitely got more power.
Okay.
Definitely, yeah. And as I said, the handling's always been great. The engine has always lagged behind a bit. Now those two things match, so I can't wait to get it back out again. Excellent.
Well, that's it. If there's one thing we like doing, and that's getting people behind the wheel of their cars because they drive nice. So, just one last question: would you recommend this service?
100%. Yeah.
Excellent.
No hesitation.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Stu. Cheers.
Cheers.
Okay, so a couple of days after I just did those two tune-ups, so I've decided to add an extra one to this episode, just to get it all wrapped up before our bank holiday weekend that we've got coming up. Anyway, and this one belongs to Matty, and he's over in Shaftesbury. So we're going to go over there and see what's up with his one. Okay. This is a little 998 Mini with a stage 1 kit. This one belongs to Matty. I'm in Shaftesbury today. Let's have a quick look, see what we got. So nothing special here, just a nice little 998. I've already started working on this one, so there's a few things that I'm in the process of changing. Things like, you can see there's a coil on there I've already fitted, and we're changing the vacuum unit at the moment. The plug gaps are wrong, and we've got a worn carburettor, but most importantly on this one, the engine itself is quite loose, and it's making those certain noises about you know, when you get loose big ends and things like that. So we just need to be sensible on this one. So we're not going to tune it for maximum power, we're just going to make the engine run nicely and sweetly, more like a factory tune. Anyway, let's go and talk to Matt the owner. This is Matty.
Hello, all right.
All right. So why have you called me over today?
Called you over today because we've got a problem with the Mini. There's no power at top end.
Okay. Any other issues you got with it?
Yeah, it's not running very smoothly, and I'd like it to run a lot better and a little bit more efficiently.
Okay. All right. So we found a number of faults. So let's go through and finish the tune.
Yeah.
And then we'll get you to drive it and see what you think.
Okay, perfect.
Right. So Matty's been out for a test drive. There was quite a few things that we had to sort out in the end. The main one of which was the carburettor is worn. And it had the wrong needle in it, so it had a stage 1 kit fitted and it only had the standard AAC needle, so it's very lean. As I already mentioned before, coil, we had to gap the spark plugs, and then the ignition timing was much too advanced. The vacuum unit was gone, so we had to replace that as well. So quite a few little things on this one adding up to some issues. So let's talk to Matty now. Hello Matty, you've been out for a test drive. What do you think now?
I have, yeah, quite exciting, yeah. The fact that it's all been tuned up well. I didn't realise how well a Mini could go, being a 1 litre.
Well, that's a lot of I'll get a lot of responses like that. People don't realise what they're missing until they've had the tune up and they see such a positive improvement. So what's it like to drive now?
Smoother, more acceleration. Feels like it's breathing, the car's breathing better. It's going up hills and forth. Being a 1 litre, I was surprised.
Excellent.
Yeah, going a lot better.
Excellent. Yeah. Okay, so would you recommend this service to anyone else?
Sure, yeah.
Excellent. All right. Well, thanks very much, Matty. Well, hopefully you enjoyed all those 3 that we did tuning on there. Obviously, the first car just needed setting up for running in, which is good and very sensibly owned. The second one was really, its main issue was the carburettor that we replaced. It's quite common to have to replace carburettors when I go out for tune-ups because people don't realise how bad their components are. So it's only when I can come along and do some measurements and show them that things are worn that then we can get that item changed. And then we can tune that in and make the best out of that engine. And then obviously the last car that we just did there had a lot of faults with it, and also the engine itself was quite worn. So I did the minimum effort to it in terms of making sure it ran nicely, but not searching for full power because I didn't want to already put more load on a damaged bottom end. Anyway, as ever, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.